Okie dokie, boys and girls. So, to get started with training, in my opinion, it takes 1 to 2 weeks. Now, of course, if you want to start training, you can just drop down to the floor and do some push-ups, and it only takes 5 seconds, right? But then you didn't really start yet because, when people start training, usually they dream up ambitions when they're comfortable in the couch or in their bed, right? Not in pain, not anything bad happening to them. And they're dreaming like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get ripped and I'm gonna go on a diet. But then when you actually get to it, it starts hurting. You get tired. You start getting hungry. So stuff like that, right? And things start getting harder and then people quit. So why, in my opinion, it takes 1 to 2 weeks to really get started with training is because then you're getting used to the pain. You've trained a couple times, your muscles are sore, but you go again. You notice that you're weaker because you're tired from the previous training, and you can kind of slip into this baseline. So, for example, for me, what I'm experiencing with the style of training I'm doing right now, I'm doing Grease the Groove, which is a style where you train multiple times a day, but not that hard. What I'm finding out is, well, I started out doing like 6 sets a day of planche, and basically I got tired doing that. So the next day I tried again and I'm weaker than the previous day. Now, that's not good, right? That's not motivating. Suddenly I'm in pain, so to speak. So I have to lower the standard, which, it might not be the greatest thing for your ego, or maybe it is, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like, you're gonna have to kind of adjust your minds, your thinking of what you're capable of. And I feel like a lot of people start New Year's resolutions and they get into the swing of things, but then their bodies get sore, they get hungry, and they're like, nope, this is not for me. But they're not operating at their baseline. I'll make a separate video about the baseline. But basically, right, the baseline is something that you can sustain daily and feel good every day. So you might be able to do 50 push-ups in one go, but the next day you're going to be super sore and not able to do 50 anymore. Maybe you're going to be able to do 35, and the next day 30, 25, 20, right? You get weaker and weaker and weaker for some reason until you're at your baseline. So let's say you're able to do 20 push-ups a day and feel good the next day and do it again and basically not feel any weaker than the day before. That's your baseline. That's something you can sustain. And once you find your baseline, once you drop down, at first it's going to feel like you're getting weaker because you're doing less and less and less. But when you get to the point where you're doing, little enough that you're able to recover and feel good or even better the next day to do it again, that's when you have your baseline. That's where the training starts because now you can move up again. And that's where it gets fun, right? It's not fun to train and then basically feel like you're getting weaker. No, it's fun to get stronger. And, when you find that rhythm of yours where you're able to, train as often as you want to. So, for example, twice a week or in my case, daily, and you're able to recover from your trainings, that's when you're going to get stronger. But it's going to take you a while, 1 to 2 weeks, to find that level because it's easy to sit on the couch thinking of yourself as the strongest human in the world and then start going crazy, right, in the gym. That's what a lot of beginners do. But anyway, at the moment, I am starting my workout with some Grease the Groove sits. So let's do a little planche. All right. I started off greasing the groove with 6 sets of 7 seconds a day, but I quickly found out that was too much. So yesterday I did a bit of a rest day where I did only 2 sets of 5 seconds. Today I'm doing 5 seconds again, 5 seconds of planche again, but I might be doing a little more sets, and that's how I will find my baseline. So it's a push day today, but I'm doing front lever as well. Alright. This was my second set, so I'm gonna do one more and then get the workout started. Alrighty, so the holds have been done. Now I'm moving on to the actual training. Listening to some Linkin Park, inspired by the fucking Instagram cat memes, you know? Those memes where the cats are just dancing to some Linkin Park or some other type of hardcore music. I mean, those memes are the shit. If you have more of them, please send them to me. But yeah, anyway, I saw that cat meme, and now I'm listening to Linkin Park during the training. So I bet it's gonna be a good one. And what I'm gonna focus on is the push-up. You know, for me, I'm finding my baseline, right? I started off doing those 6 sets of planche sits at 7 seconds. That was way too much. Yesterday I did way less. Today I might be doing a little bit more. But point is, you know, I am not that much stronger yet compared to last time. So I'm just gonna, you know, do a light training here. And while I find my base in Grease the Groove, I'm just gonna keep doing light trainings basically. So I'm gonna do some push-ups, but the sets are not gonna be very hard. And basically, doing light trainings will allow me to kind of search my baseline outside of training, you know, during the Grease the Groove sets that I am doing during the day. So that's why today's training will be a little bit lighter. Let's start off with set number 1. All right, couple more sets. Okay, I so completely forgot to do commentary because I was just jamming away at Linkin Park. But what I'm doing is aiming for 6 sets here. That's not a particular number. That's just what I feel is going to be challenging, but also, you know, manageable to recover from. So right now I'm at 4 sets. It's starting to get more difficult, but I'm hoping to get a bit more in the zone. Do set number 5, and then, you know, bash out completely on set number 6 and do a press after the 2 push-ups. So that's kind of what I'm aiming for. You know, short sets, light sets. Like the first set didn't feel like shit. The first 2 sets actually. So, you know, it's kind of light sets, but they're allowing me to build volume at a relatively low intensity. I'm not trying to break the form too much, of course, but yeah, still a good training. So I'm gonna keep jamming away at Linkin Park, and I'll see you after the sets are done. Okay, so in the last set, my form was starting to break down already, but let's get in the zone and have a last good set. I bent my arm a little bit, but I think the push-ups are fine. Holy shit. Okay, I'm gonna do 1 set, just an attempt of a bit of a wider push-up in planche, because that seems like fun. And then I'm gonna move on to accessories. Oh boy, I'm gonna try that again. Yeah, let's try it again now, and then perhaps if I fail, I'm gonna try the next training as well. I should try this again when I'm fresh. But that's a fun challenge. Okay, so now I'm just gonna move on to accessories. And for the accessories, I'm gonna do supinated ground planche. So just hands backward like this so that I expose my biceps so that I can use it more. And I'm not going to do a full planche, of course. I'm going to do the tuck planche. Did like 20 seconds of hold time for hopefully 3 sets. And this will allow me to, build the weak spots in my body. For me, supinating the planche is very hard. So doing some accessory work regarding it will not hurt. And it will be, of course, it's not only for supinating the planche, it will also benefit me in the normal planche. The bigger your biceps, the easier the planche. So let's go. Feels difficult after all that planche. Remember, boys and girls, lean planche is a good progression at any level because depending on how much you lean, you can make it as difficult as you want. And if you have a bit of experience, you will know if I lean this much, I can hold this many seconds. So for me, I'm trying to hold 20 seconds and I'm able to kind of calculate with my current strength how it's feeling, how much I should lean to just break down completely at 20 seconds. So, lean planche, you never have to stop using it. So that was the last set for this training. I was sitting down already, but let's sit down and discuss. Okie dokie, boys and girls, so that's it for today's training. And as you might have noticed, the sets were shorter. There wasn't as much of like burnout sets that I usually do, but that's the point, right? I've been struggling to find my baseline, or I've been trying to find my baseline in the planche, not struggling because it's normal that it takes like a week or so, but I've been trying to find my baseline in the planche and increase the groove. And like I mentioned in the beginning, I now just want to have light trainings so that I'm easily able to recover and basically, find where I'm at, how I can do planche on a daily basis, multiple times a day even, and still recover. And once I found that, once I have that baseline, I will be able to ramp things up, which I'm looking forward to very much because, those 20 seconds are still in the vision. Last attempt was only 10 seconds, but that was just because I was completely trashed. And now, I feel like if all goes well, I will be able to use this last stretch before Japan and maybe even get the 20 seconds before I leave. So that would be the ideal situation, and I will be doing everything in my power to get there. But we'll just have to wait and see. What's most important is the fact that when you start training, like it takes some time. People, they expect results instantly, and I feel like there's this kind of introduction period that you have to get past. Basically, the sad part about training is that it gets fun the more you do it. So when you're all the way in the beginning and you don't have any experience, it might feel like a dread, like a task. Like you don't want to do it because you did some training and now you're all of a sudden your entire body is sore, but you had a new workout planned already and now you feel even weaker than before. That's a tough period to get through, because you feel like you're just beating yourself down and not making any progress. But once you get past that point, that point where you don't know your body yet, and now you're able to kind of gauge what you have to do in order to recover normally, right? Once you get past that point and your body is able to recover, that's where the strength comes from. Because during your workout, you get weaker, right? It's not like as the workout goes on that you're stronger and that you can do more. No, you can do less and less and less because you're getting tired. But after the workout, when you recover, that's when you get stronger and then you can come back and do more than last time. And that's the fun part about training. So if you're starting on your training journey, don't worry if right now you feel like, you're not making any progress. In 1 to 2 weeks, you will kind of feel what you're able to do without getting too sore. And basically from there, you can get stronger. And, you might ask yourself like, oh, is it bad to get sore? And no, it's not, but you have to be kind of careful as well, right? Especially as a beginner, you're not used to training it. So just hammering your body, it's kind of gonna destroy it, right? And I feel like it's better to just start off slowly. And then, as time goes on, as you learn your baseline, as you learn your body, you can push it more and more and more every now and then. So that's kind of how I would approach it, but that takes time, right? 1 to 2 weeks, you will find your baseline. From there, it's smooth sailing to basically progress every time. Go harder than last time, and let your body recover to get stronger. So that's it for today's training. Very fun. Tomorrow is going to be a pull day, so I'll see you then.